Hey everyone. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about happiness. And the reason I want to talk about that today is because I had a conversation the other day about the difference between authentic and kind of fake happiness. And what I mean by fake happiness is the feeling we get when we do something that gives us that quick fix. So for me, and it may be the same for you, that looked like restricting. And I would get that kind of that high from doing that. Or it might be standing on scales, the weighing scales, and see the number going down. And when I had anorexia, that gave me that kind of that rush, that high feeling that I thought was happiness. And I think a lot of us maybe feel that we're working towards this end goal that will make us happy, whatever that might look like to you. But actually, I'm just kind of keen to explore the difference between that kind of version of what we see as happiness, that kind of quick fix, versus a more authentic, real happiness that I'm sure everyone kind of knows what I'm talking about. That feeling that kind of inhabits the whole of our body. It's a kind of a warmth. It's not even, it doesn't necessarily kind of give us that rush, but it's maybe contentment is another word for it. It's that feeling of kind of being home, if that makes sense. And so I wanted to compare the two because I think there's an important distinction to make. And actually looking at how that quick fix maybe isn't what we think it is, and maybe it's not actually what we're looking for. It's kind of a bit like having, so if you have seen adverts about different breakfast cereals and how some will tell you that it will give you a kind of a slow release of energy over time, and that kind of being a bit like the authentic happiness, that it might not kind of be a big rush of feelings and excitement, but it's that kind of that constant feeling that it gives you, it kind of feeds you that energy almost, compared to the kind of high sugar cereals that will give you that quick fix, that rush of sugar, that rush of energy, but actually after an hour or so that will disappear, and then we look for our next fix. And I think we do a similar thing with whatever it is that kind of makes sense to us to do in order to get that fix. It might be restricting, it might be exercise, it might be alcohol, it might be drugs, it could be anything. That we see that quick fix feeling as something that is actually meaningful and something that is providing us happiness. And actually we often, speaking from my own experience, I kind of would forget after each time I'd get that rush. I'd forget about the low I'd then feel afterwards, and actually how short-lived that feeling was. And so I was chasing after something which was kind of hollow, if that makes sense. And so I'd love you to maybe just think about whether that relate to anything you're going through, and actually maybe even start to challenge the voices that are saying, yes, doing that thing again, whatever it might be, will make you happy. Because actually I've found that those voices aren't always trustworthy, and that actually they're pointing to that quick fix feeling rather than a more authentic happiness, which I think is actually ultimately what we're aiming for, what we want to get to. But it's actually something else which is coming up as a result, and that thing is much more short-lived and unsatisfying than we maybe perhaps think it will be. So I'd love to hear what you think. Feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And of course, check out our other videos and make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you soon.